So, Elle Duncan talked basketball. Elle Duncan talked again about the Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers situation. And yeah, people were annoyed. And to be honest, I haven't listened to this. I'm not joking, I'm going to be reacting to this in real time. So I've got no idea what was said, what wasn't said. And one thing I will say is that people tend to jump on basketball takes. I don't know if this was a basketball take or this wasn't a basketball take, or if this was a whole Caitlin Clark was Paige Bueckers, or Paige Bueckers Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark. Paige Bueckers was the most hyped high school player ever. I mean that before Juju ever, but no. Anyway, before we get on to that, we're doing Hoopsmas. We're trying to hit 40k by the end of December. We're uploading 5 videos a day until then. We can somehow get 22 more subscribers by the end of the day. That would be insane. We'll only be 100 off. But yeah, let's get on to it. So, let's take a listen. This is what analysts saying Paige Bueckers would have been Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark on Prime TV is unnecessary and annoying. Like, why is Caitlin's name brought up? Talk about Paige. We want to talk about Paige. Caitlin's name is brought up because it gets clicks. That's the reality of the situation. Caitlin Clark's name is brought up because it's going to get clicks. There's a reason why. That's like saying, why not talk about Michael Jordan without talking about LeBron, or talking about LeBron without talking about Michael Jordan? Because once LeBron, evidently after the 2016 title, evidently in most people's eyes, moved past Kobe in the top 10 rankings, and without question after the 2013 title, without question after 2016, it then became, can LeBron catch Michael Jordan? And realistically, it's just whatever people's opinions are. So they will always be linked together. People always talk about what gets more clicks. It's the reason why, let's be real, whenever the next great player is, they're going to be compared to Jokic. I mean, Jokic is Jokic, but anyway. Let's take a listen to what Elle Duncan said here. Let's listen.
And so while I'm not really interested in pitting those two against each other, I'll talk specifically about what I think is really impactful about Paige Bueckers. You're Caitlin for who Caitlin, and the Caitlin is what Caitlin is about Caitlin.
So obviously, comparing Caitlin to Paige Bueckers and just mentioning the name Caitlin Clark, it is a topic of talk, and I don't hate that Elle Duncan talked about it. She said she's not going to compare and proceeded to mention Caitlin 10 more times. Like, I think it's fine to compare. The reality is like, we can compare. These are players that literally, their careers, like if you look at their careers, let's say, because Paige, like, let's be honest, Paige was a better player before they were about 18 years old. She just was. They played in the same USA teams, some that Caitlin Clark didn't make, but when they were on the same teams, Paige was better. She scored more points, was more efficient, and was just better. So, let's say Paige is a little bit ahead of Caitlin Clark. And then as freshmen, I think they both were equally as good because Paige scored less on more efficiency and UConn were better than Iowa. But Caitlin Clark carried the Iowa team. So let's just say they both pick it up and they're at the same. And then Paige gets injured. And then around 2022, Caitlin Clark, because she has that game, was against Michigan where she basically almost beat them by herself. Caitlin has that ridiculous sophomore year. And she probably overtakes Paige a little bit. And then Paige tears her ACL and Caitlin shoots into the stratosphere in 2023. In 2024, she improves and gets even better. And then her improvement from game 1 to game 40 of the WNBA season was like, everyone talks about development. Oh, these players develop. There was no rookie that improved more from game 1 to game 40 than Caitlin Clark, other than maybe Leonie Phoebus, as far as just figuring it out. But Caitlin Clark was good game 1. She was the best guard in the WNBA by game 40. And Paige is not going to be that. I'm telling you that for right now. I hope Paige is great. But everyone wants a rivalry. And Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese should never have been a rivalry. Because 1, they don't play the same position. 2, Angel Reese was never even close to Caitlin Clark. I remember saying it during the LSU game. Both the LSU games, by the way. And I'm like, it is very clear that the second best player on the floor is Angel Reese. Not who played the best in the game. It's very clear Angel Reese both times was the second best player on the floor. But there was a huge gap to Caitlin Clark. Both times. So, it was always a dumb rivalry because Angel Reese is not going to be Caitlin Clark. And that's fine, because Angel Reese could be good. Let's have Angel Reese have rivals at her own position. Like, Caitlin Clark is already the number one at her position in the WNBA. Her goal is, I'm winning a championship to win MVPs. Angel Reese's goal, I think, next season should be, I think right now, as far as the power forward position, because yes, Aja plays there, Kia Stokes plays center. Almost everyone would have the top 5 power forwards as Angel Reese or Aja Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Alyssa Thomas, and Neko Wumake, and Satu / Dierica. Like, if I was Angel Reese, my goal would be all W. Or sorry, I've missed out Collier. Collier is the 5, and it's Satu and Neka, or sorry, Satu and Hamby at 6, 7, Reese maybe at 8. My goal, if you're Angel Reese, is to get into that conversation where there is no debate anymore between Angel and Hamby, that it is Angel Reese is the better player of the two of them, because that's a debate right now. And then as Neko Wumake is aging out, if I was Angel Reese, the goal would be to be in the debate with Neko Wumake, and in that debate to get onto the All-W second team. I think that's something that's achievable. But that's the reality situation is that they never should have been rivals. The rivalry realistically should have been Paige versus Caitlin, because they play similar positions, not the same. They're the same. They came up through the same class in high school. Yes, Paige was the bigger player at the time, but at the same time, a lot of people again saying she would have been Caitlin for Caitlin on TV, which is not what I don't think what Elle Duncan said. And I think that's a bit misleading, because I don't know, it's like saying that, let's just say hypothetically there is that's like saying Bol Bol was Wemby before Wemby. It is. Or something dumb like that. Where, yeah, okay, Paige was super hyped high school player. More so than Caitlin Clark. What Caitlin Clark did was become the most hyped college player, starting from her junior season to her senior season, and then in the WNBA, that was all organic. Paige Bueckers' hype during high school was organic. It was completely organic. Paige Bueckers' hype as a freshman in college was organic. And, like, let's be real, I knew who Paige Bueckers was before I knew who Caitlin Clark was. But that doesn't mean that she was anywhere near the superstar that Caitlin Clark has become over the last couple of years. Like, they're two different arguments people are making. And she was never Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark, because Caitlin Clark reached a stratosphere. By Caitlin Clark's second year in college, she was more popular than Paige Bueckers, and she's reached a stratosphere that no female basketball player has ever reached. So there's no Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark, because Paige Bueckers was Paige Bueckers. She was the original hyped high school player. And for that, that's a big thing. But even if Paige Bueckers did not exist, what Caitlin Clark has done would still be huge, because she was literally pulling from 40. She was doing something that she became the most hyped college player, men or women. And I'm sorry, even though Paige Bueckers was hyped in 2021, she was not as hyped as, like, Drew Timme was more hyped than Paige Bueckers at the time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have that much of an issue with what Elle Duncan says. Like, I actually don't. A lot of people think dislike Elle Duncan, but the reality is that she's just giving her opinion on sport, and I never really mind when someone's giving their opinion on sport. I think people turned on Elle Duncan because she apologized to Cheryl Swoops because of a slight misquote. Like, she quoted Cheryl Swoops and said that Cheryl Swoops said that Katie Lou was more important to the Fever than Caitlin Clark. She misquoted Cheryl Swoops and then went on a big apology tour, making sure that she would apologize for Cheryl Swoops and say Cheryl Swoops wasn't in the wrong, when the reality was Cheryl Swoops didn't say Katie Lou was more important, but she implied that Katie Lou and Caitlin Clark had equal importance to the growth of the Fever. That was what she implied. I'm paraphrasing it, but this is almost what Cheryl Swoops said. I think the Indiana Fever would be in the playoffs without Caitlin Clark. And then the next sentence was something along the lines of, Caitlin Clark's not the only addition. They also brought in Katie Lou. Katie Lou's been great as a three-point shooter and defender. The Katie Lou Samuelson who doesn't play defense and couldn't shoot. They still think it's UConn Katie Lou, I guess. But no, that's what effectively, I'm paraphrasing it, but that's what Cheryl Swoops said. Cheryl Swoops heavily implied that Caitlin Clark and Katie Lou were of equal importance. But Elle Duncan obviously took back her entire thing on Cheryl Swoops, and I think that's why people dislike her. But, like, I don't mind Elle Duncan. Like, I don't mind Elle Duncan's podcast. the guy on Elle Duncan's podcast, the two of them debate back and forth a lot of the time on basketball. And look, she has a lot of dumb takes. I'm pretty sure did she not say rookie of the year was going to go who's based on a better record or something? No, sorry, that wasn't her. That was I can't even remember who said that. But like, it's fine to have dumb sports takes. I have dumb sports takes. You have dumb sports takes. Elle Duncan has dumb sports takes. I'm fine with that. But like, I don't like the, oh, we shouldn't compare these two players. Yes, we should. That's sports. Sports conversation is about comparison. The day we stop comparing sports players is the day sports talk dies. So yeah, keep doing it. And that's the thing where it's like, she's like, I don't want to compare them, and then constantly mentions Caitlin. Yeah, compare them. Compare them. She's not going to be Caitlin Clark, but you know what? There's going to have to be rivals. There's going to have to be people that are there or thereabouts that level. And like, Paige Bueckers is brilliant. The only thing is, though, Paige Bueckers is in fact older than Aaliyah Boston. So it's not like she's young, but yeah, I don't mind it, to be honest.